Ever notice how you can bite into what looks like a perfectly good piece of fruit, only to find a nasty bruise hidden underneath?
I know what you mean.
That's kind of what neovascular glaucoma is like. It can really sneak up on you.
It's true, and it's one of the most aggressive forms of glaucoma out there.
And unfortunately, a lot of people don't even know what it is until it's too late. That's why we're doing this deep dive today. We're going to break down the complexities of this condition in a way that everyone can understand.
We're going to try to arm you with the information you need to protect your vision.
Exactly, because knowledge is power. So, before we get ahead of ourselves, let's start with the basics. What exactly is neovascular glaucoma?
Well, in the simplest terms, it's a type of glaucoma where abnormal blood vessels grow in the eye and block the flow of fluid
And that fluid is important because,
because it helps maintain the pressure inside the eye. When the fluid can't drain properly, the pressure builds up, and that can damage the optic nerve.
and the optic nerve is what carries signals from the eye to the brain, right?
Exactly. So if it's damaged, it can lead to blindness.
Okay, so that's a very simplified explanation. I know from the material we've been looking at that it's actually a much more complex process than that. There are a lot of different factors at play.
Right. It's not just about the fluid. There are other things going on in the eye that can contribute to the development of neovascular glaucoma.
Like what? What are some of the things that can trigger this chain of events?
Well, one of the biggest culprits is diabetes.
Really? Diabetes can affect your eyes too.
Absolutely. High blood sugar can damage the blood vessels in the retina, which is the light-sensitive tissue at the back of the eye.
And that damage is what can lead to the growth of these abnormal blood vessels.
Exactly. The body is trying to repair the damage, but it ends up creating more problems in the process.
So these abnormal blood vessels, they're basically like rogue agents causing chaos in the eye.
That's a great way to put it. They're not supposed to be there, and they wreak havoc on the eye's delicate ecosystem.
So I'm curious, are there other things besides diabetes that can cause these troublesome blood vessels to grow?
There are things like eye injuries, certain eye surgeries, even tumors.
This is all starting to sound a little scary.
It can be, but the good news is that early detection is key.
Okay, well, let's talk about that then. What are some of the warning signs? If someone's listening to this, what should they be on the lookout for?
Well, one of the first things you might notice is a change in your vision. It could be anything from blurry vision to blind spots. You might also see halos around lights.
Okay, so if you start noticing any of those things, go see your eye doctor immediately.
Exactly. Don't wait. The sooner we can patch this, the better the chances of preserving your vision.
And I'm guessing that early detection makes treatment easier too.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, I think this is a good place to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about the different treatment options available. Stay with us. And we're back, diving deeper into neovascular glaucoma. Before the break, we were talking about the importance of early detection. But, and this might be putting the cart before the horse a little bit, how do you even treat something like this?
Well, like we touched on before, the earlier you catch it, the better. And the goal of treatment is to lower the pressure inside the eye and prevent further damage to the optic nerve.
So how do you lower the pressure? Are we talking medications, surgery?
It can be both. Sometimes eye drops are enough to manage the pressure.
And these eye drops, they basically help to drain the fluid that's building up.
Exactly. They help to open up the drainage channels in the eye so that the fluid can flow out more easily.
Okay, so that makes sense. But what about the cases where eye drops aren't enough?
Well, in those cases, surgery might be necessary.
And what kind of surgery are we talking about here?
There are a few different procedures, but one of the most common is called a trabeculectomy.
Trabeculectomy, that sounds intense.
It sounds scarier than it is. Basically, it involves creating a new channel for the fluid to drain out of the eye.
Like a bypass for your eye.
You could say that. It's a very effective way to lower eye pressure.
So we've got medications, we've got surgery. Are there any other treatment options available? What about those injections I've been hearing about?
You're right. Those are becoming increasingly common for treating neovascular glaucoma. They're called anti-VEGF injections.
Anti-VEGF, and that stands for?
Vascular endothelial growth factor. Remember those abnormal blood vessels we were talking about?
Yeah, the ones causing all the trouble.
Right. Well, VEGF is a protein that stimulates the growth of new blood vessels. So these injections work by blocking VEGF.
Basically, they're like a stop sign for those rogue blood vessels.
Precisely. By inhibiting VEGF, we can slow down or even stop the growth of those abnormal blood vessels and prevent further damage to the eye.
That's amazing. So with all these different treatments available, it sounds like there's a lot of hope for people with neovascular glaucoma?
There is. Of course, the best case is always to catch it early and start treatment as soon as possible.
Right, which takes us back to those warning signs we were talking about.
Exactly. Pay attention to your vision, and if you notice any changes, don't hesitate to see your eye doctor.
Good advice. All right, so we've covered a lot of ground today. We talked about what neovascular glaucoma is, what causes it, the importance of early detection, and some of the treatment options available. But there's still so much more to uncover. And speaking of uncovering, we need to take a quick break to hear from our sponsors. When we get back, we'll explore the exciting world of neovascular glaucoma research and what the future holds for treating this complex condition. Stay with us. And we're back. It's amazing to think that just a few decades ago, a diagnosis of neovascular glaucoma was basically a death sentence for your vision. But with all the advancements we've made in treatment, are we any closer to a cure?
Well, let's just say the future of neovascular glaucoma treatment is looking very promising.
Really? What's got you so optimistic?
Research. Scientists are making some really exciting breakthroughs, especially in areas like gene therapy and stem cell research.
Okay, so we're talking next-level stuff here. Can you break those down for us? What makes these approaches so groundbreaking?
Well, with gene therapy, imagine being able to deliver specific genes to those damaged cells in the eye.
To repair them from the inside out.
Exactly. We could potentially reprogram those cells, get them to regenerate and function properly again.
Wow. Okay, so that's gene therapy. What about stem cells? Where do they fit into all of this?
Stem cells are like the blank slates of the body. They have this incredible potential to develop into any type of cell, including those sensitive nerve cells in the eye that are damaged by glaucoma.
So theoretically, you could replace the damaged cells with healthy new ones.
That's the idea. It's still early days, but the possibilities are mind-blowing.
It really is incredible when you think about how far we've come and what the future holds. But for the millions of people currently living with neovascular glaucoma, what advice can we give them while we wait for these cutting-edge treatments to become available?
I think the most important thing is to stay informed and proactive. Understand your risk factors, get regular eye exams, and if you notice any changes in your vision, don't wait to see a doctor.
And on that note, I want to thank you for joining us on this deep dive into neovascular glaucoma. It's a complex condition, but hopefully we've shed some light on what it is, how to spot it, and what the future holds.
It's been a pleasure. Remember, knowledge is your best defense.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep those deep dives coming.